David Copperfield and Harry Houdini are among some of the greatest magicians of all time by performing extremely dangerous tricks and illusions. From a man so crazy he throws himself in a 6-ton block of ice to an insane magician standing in a tornado of fire, we count down the 10 most dangerous magic tricks ever.
Number 10. Cutting a woman in half. Everyone has seen or at least heard of a magician cutting a woman in half. And everyone has their own little theory on how it works, but the truth is that the methods of this trick vary considerably, which has led to some of the greatest versions of the illusion emerging today. One of my favourite versions is performed by magician Chris Angel, where there are no funny boxes and no giant saws, just a magician and a spectator. Number 9. The roller coaster escape. Award-winning magician Lance Burton, while shackled and handcuffed to roller coaster tracks with the roller coaster zooming along, has to pick the locks and escape before he's little more than roadkill. The only thing I can think of to make this more dangerous is if the roller coaster was on fire. Number 8. The sword cabinet. Here is another great classic of magic, the sword cabinet. The assistant climbs into a tiny little box which is then sealed shut. The magician then proceeds to thrust swords through every conceivable angle, leaving no apparent room to hide. The swords are then removed, and the assistant reveals herself unharmed. Not unlike the sawing in half illusion, there were many versions of this trick in history. Some of these versions do rely purely on calculated sword thrusts and a contortionist assistant, so the danger can be very real depending on who is performing it. There have been many injuries over the years. Number 7. The Straitjacket escape. Escape artist Harry Houdini was touring through a mental institution when he spotted a man strapped in a straitjacket. He was struggling with all his strength and energy to get free of the device, but to no avail. Houdini was fascinated at the effectiveness of the jacket, and that was just the challenge that he'd been looking for, thus giving birth to one of the most popular escapes to date. Since then it has grown more and more dangerous, such as being performed underwater, hanging upside down from a crane and being dragged behind a boat. If you can think of a stupid thing to do with a straitjacket, magicians have probably done it. There are no illusionary elements here, just good old escapology. Number 6. Frozen in a block of ice. At 9 AM Monday, November 27th in 2000, in Manhattan's Times Square, magician David Blaine decided it was a good idea to freeze himself inside a solid 6-ton block of ice for 63 hours. He was encased in 2 halves in which his body contour had been cut, so he had a small amount of room to scratch his nose. He also had lifelines to monitor his health and a catheter to urinate. In my opinion, this is one of the craziest feats in magic to date. Number 5. The spike. This nasty little number may not be the most dangerous or even the most impressive, but it has caused a lot of people a lot of pain in the last couple of years. It is a variation of the old 3-shell game where the magician places a pea under one of the 3 shells, then mixes them up, at which point you try to identify the shell with the pea. Modern magicians have given this classic trick a dangerous new spin by replacing the pea with a large spike and the shells with styrofoam cups. The magician lets the spectator cover all the wooden blocks with cups. He then walks over to the 3 cups and instantly smashes his hand on 2, leaving the cup with the spike underneath untouched. There have been incidents where the magician has been wrong and injured the helping spectators. Number 4. Tornado of fire. This trick is pretty self-explanatory, but in 2001, David Copperfield decided to do a stunt never before attempted by anyone else. With fire and ambulance crew on standby, David stood in the centre of a tornado of fire. Temperatures exceeding 2,000 degrees were recorded, and how anyone could survive such a feat is beyond comprehension. David walked away unharmed. This trick makes the list just on the name alone, let alone a completely insane idea. Number 3. The Chinese water torture cell. Another crazy feat invented by Houdini was the water torture cell. The magician is handcuffed, his ankles are locked into a restraint brace,
He is suspended upside down in mid-air and then lowered into a glass tank of ice water with the restraint locked at the top of the tank. Although this trick is ridiculously dangerous, Houdini wasn't killed in the water torture cell despite popular belief. Number 2. Buried alive. Here's a very old and very dangerous trick, being buried alive. Originally performed by the fakirs of India, this trick found its way onto Houdini's to-do list, but due to his sudden death, the trick was cut short. That didn't stop other magicians performing the trick years later though. Although Houdini never got round to performing it, he did have a specially designed coffin made for the trick. With his sudden death, he was later buried in that very coffin. Kind of ironic that the escape artist lies trapped forever in a coffin he once planned to escape from. Number 1. The bullet catch. The most dangerous magic trick ever performed is undoubtedly the fabled bullet catch. This fatal trick has claimed the lives of many magicians, assistants, spectators and wounded countless of others over the years. The basic effect is a bullet loaded into a gun and shot at the magician, who then usually catches it in his hand or teeth. This trick contains illusionary elements, but the danger is still very real, as has been proven over the years. Estimates say this trick has claimed the lives of around 15 magicians, not counting assistants or spectators. After such a bloody history, this trick has earned the reputation of being cursed, as very little professional magicians perform it today.